final rounds of the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series are in sight here for the 2007 season. The teams are rising to the top. Everything has been meticulously prepared as they make a run for the championship. People will stand on their feet to watch the most exciting form of motorsports on the planet, and these guys will deliver. Pro Light, Pro 2, and Pro 4. It's all on the line, and it's all coming next, right here on Speed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to beautiful southern sunny California. We're in Chula Vista, just south of San Diego, for another exciting round of the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. I'm Ken Stout. Cameron Steele joins me here in the booth, and we're at a place they call the Quarry. And Cam, what a spectacular racetrack.
You gotta love it here. It's known for the elevation changes that it has, but they've added more bumps and more airtime this time around. It's going to be exciting.
Now the class we'll be featuring here today is the Pro 4 division. It will be round number 7, and a guy that suddenly has a lot of consistency is second in the points. We're talking about Scott Douglas, 3 consecutive podium finishes.
You gotta love the way he's been doing it, and you gotta be in the mix at all times if you're gonna be in the points. Even though Carl Renezetter has bookended some great races with 2 bad ones, so he's had some troubles, but Douglas has been great. And speaking about being great, Steve Barlow took the off time in his Red Bull Pro 4. He found the bugs. They worked through the whole truck, tore it all apart, and guess what? He comes up with his first podium. Very excited to see him in the mix.
Great run for Steve Barlow. Now there's another guy that we've yet to mention. His name is Rick Huseman. He earned his 20th career win, but it was his first in Pro 4. And standing with him is the third member of our team, Kelly Stavist.
Well, Ken, Rick Huseman told me he felt like he got a monkey off his back by getting his first ever Pro 4 win in Antelope Valley. Now I got to ask you, how will that confidence carry over here into Chula Vista?
You know, I'm really confident in the whole team right now, and you know the truck is just performing so great, and the whole setup on the truck, the suspension, the tuning, the TRD, the tires with Toyo, everything's coming together right now, and you know I just feel like I can go out there and win. You know.
They made a couple small adjustments to the track, and you told me you think it's a little bit less challenging. Tell me about that and how you think that'll affect the field.
You know, they've added a couple whoops, but a lot of the other ones through the jump sections are a little rounded off, and they don't make you buck as much, and they're, you know, it makes it so anybody can do it fast, you know. So it kind of brings the field a little closer, but I don't know, the track will come around. It'll be different when we race too, so we'll see what happens.
All right, he's looking for win number 2. We'll see if he can get it here in Chula Vista. Ken.
A new face to CORR is a familiar face in racing. That is Paul Trace, the 2003 Champ Car champion. But in the Pro 2 truck, unfortunately, he did not have the best of luck.
Well, yesterday I had a couple good sessions. I got one by myself, which was good, and then I got a second session, which went good, and then the third session I said, okay, I'm going to get after it now a little bit, and I got after it real good. So the frame is, I mean, it's not fixable here. It's fixable at the shop, but they don't have the jigs and stuff to fix it here. But this morning I got out in the Pro 4 truck and got to run the first practice in that. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it, and you know, I'm grateful for the chance that the Baldwins have given me to drive here with, you know, the sponsors they brought on board with Monster and KMC. We'll get out there and race.
We'll find out how the open wheel competitor does here in Pro 4. Carl Renezetter right now top of the points, looking to get back up and win that championship to take it away from Johnny Greaves, who's down there in 6th. Scott Douglas, we talked about him, just been so consistent.
He definitely has, and Douglas has been carrying the speed this weekend. He is going to make for some exciting racing.
Come on back to the Lucas Oil CORR Series. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, the world's leader in automotive and high-performance lubricants. As the Pro 4s go underneath us here, over the ski jump, and this is always a great battle. Here's a look at the Kumho Tires starting grid. As fate would have it, Johnny Greaves will find himself on the pole alongside Scott Douglas. Those two guys will race hard, and Rick Huseman in row 2 alongside the Wild Man.
The Wild Man is right. Adrian Cheney definitely willing to throw down. Also look at Renezetter just back there, and Kurt Leduc, who has been struggling this season. May see him pressing. And of course the Herbst brothers in the mix. All 3 of them out there still cutting their teeth here in Pro 4, as is John Marking. So a lot of new faces in the Pro 4 4-wheel drive trucks, but the action is always hot and heavy.
Green, green, green is what they say, and we're going racing here at Chula Vista in the Quarry.
And you'll watch these 4-wheel drives. They can hunt and search out the lines a little differently than their 2-wheel drive brethren. They can stick it to the inside and make it work.
Scott Douglas getting the run there. Great look from the Monster Energy cam, and it's Johnny Greaves in second place, followed by Adrian Chinney.
The orange truck and Cheney, keep an eye on him, not afraid to stick his nose in anywhere. He is a competitor that likes to push, and you see Huseman just behind him. This big jump, not getting all the airtime there on the first. Oh, no!
A mistake all by himself. Oh! And Kurt Leduc follows him up there. It looks like they're spooning.
Yeah, I mean, mating Pro 4s on the track, not a good thing. So Douglas up on 2. He catches an edge in a rut there and flips it up. It looks like Leduc probably just had nowhere to go and tried to turn away from him, possibly catching the same ride.
Yeah, great look at it right there. It just bit that left front tire. And yeah, I think just everybody trying to steer clear of the accident. Unfortunately, Kurt Leduc had no place to go, and it looks like he catches a rut as well.
Well, Kurt tried to do a great job at turning out of it, and you see his truck started to come back down, and so a full restart as we come with the yellow-red, and we'll find out how it goes down when they restart them here at Championship Off-Road Racing.
The Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series is brought to you by Kumho Tires, driven beyond the expected. A full restart here with the Pro 4 division at Chula Vista in the quarry. Green flag flies. We're going racing once again. We'll see if Johnny Greaves gets any better start. Last time it was Scott Douglas who got the lead. This time it looks like it's going to be the Monster Energy back Toyota, sponsored by the Potawatomis.
And Rick Huseman getting a great jump that time and making it work up to second place. Gotta watch his inside, but trucks coming together.
Douglas got in trouble.
Looks like Leduc into Douglas. Leduc moves through relatively cleanly, but it's Douglas going all the way to the back of the pack.
CORR Round are back there in fourth place. There's a look at Kurt Leduc as they head down the ski jump. Looks like Adrian Chinney will fall in third place behind the two Toyotas. Rick Huseman with a Fabtech truck sitting right there in second.
And Chinney searching for that inside line. You see him drifting it around there, trying to stay with Huseman and trying to keep a clean line. We'll see how it plays here. Looks like Chinney pulling up on the outside.
Man, big time horsepower there, and they've actually talked about the better part of 1,000 horsepower inside of that truck. That's a big number, man. I don't know if it's got that much or not, but it certainly looks strong right there down the front straightaway.
Definitely pulled on Huseman, and you see him getting a little squirrely there on the inside. Huseman with the run out of the outside.
Looks like Case Gunderson has given Adrian Chinney something to race with here today.
Definitely, and you know, all that horsepower makes it tough on equipment, but if you can hold it all together, it's always good to be able to put that power to the ground. And Huseman and Greaves both driving standard shift trucks, so they're driving manual transmissions versus Chinney's automatic. So it's an interesting technology difference that these trucks have going on, and we'll see how it plays out here.
Real high-pitched sound in there, the high-pitched engine that you hear, that would be one of the Toyotas, and then of course a lower, deeper-throated sound.
Oh, look at Chinney right outside the window.
Boy, that thing just sounds sweet, man. What an awesome sounding power plant. Oh, it Greaves up there on two wheels for a moment.
Riding the bicycle, here comes Renazetter. I love it. 4 players pushing hard in the front. That usually is a recipe for chaos. And look at Carl floating off the ski jump, just sailing weightless inside of his truck.
You know, in the Pro 2 division, we heard Jerry Welchel talk about his truck being 10 years old and the heaviest truck out there. Well, that's the same scenario for this Chevrolet for Carl Renazetter. Truck that's about 10 years old, weighs about 4,700 pounds, but just keeps getting the job done. And look at Johnny Greaves, man. He is checking out.
And you can see it's getting a little bit dry in sections. The dust coming up, blue groove on the surface. There still are some slick sections. Like, look at that drift around. Greaves just making it look so pretty.
I'm telling you, I can listen to that all day long. It's just incredible what these trucks do and what they sound like. If you get a chance to come out and watch one of these events live, you've got to come. I'm telling you, If you come to your town or close, get out here because the television is awesome, but man, you've got to hear these things in life.
It's such a fact. When you get to the races and you can watch these guys side by side, you can hear the engines. It's just unbelievable that they can stick them in these tight situations and keep them going. Here, Marking and Travis Coyne going back and forth, door to door.
Oh, a little contact right there. John Marking, who tried his hand at Pro Light a year ago, had this truck built by Johnny and Kurt Greaves, the rest of the gang from the Greaves Motorsports team, and now he's out here taking a hand at Pro 4. Man.
Oh, you see Carl up on the bike. I was going to say, John Marking developing shocks for a lot of drivers here. He is the Fox Racing Shocks guru, and he is a former champion in open desert racing in a buggy. So he's no stranger to racing, but as we said earlier, he's new to this Pro 4 ranks. It's definitely something you've got to build up to. I mean, you've got to get used to it. Driving these trucks like you stole them basically at all times, and Carl is a pro.
Yeah, it's one thing to survive one of these races. It's another thing to race for the win. As we go back and take a look at the Baldwin trucks, one of those Josh Baldwin, the other one is Paul Tracy.
And Paul Tracy not wanting to give any room. That's Josh on the outside in the 86, inside Paul Tracy in the 71. It's kind of weird for Paul Tracy. Driving the four-wheel drive here, he's been searching his whole life in open-wheel racing for grip. Now he's trying to slide the truck around. What a difference a day makes in your racing career trying to drift it instead of stick it.
Yeah, not to mention they added 2,000 pounds to his race vehicle compared to what he typically is campaigning. So, I mean, yeah, it's a whole different animal. Tip of the hat to him. He's come out here like a professional and is actually hanging right in there. I mean, he looks pretty good.
And Josh made a great pass there on Troy Herbst, the number 19. He has been somewhat leading the charge for the Herbst brothers, one with the better results, and Josh getting by clean and getting back to the action towards the front. Huseman has his rearview mirror full of a Lucas Oil sticker.
Back on board with Carl Renesetter, and you watch the hang time that he has in that big heavy truck over that ski jump. It's pretty incredible. They're in the air for a long time, but as of right now, has had nothing for the Fabtech-sponsored Toyota Tundra. Has not been able to get around him as we go back up to the front.
And you can see there Johnny Green's drifting the front end, lifting a little bit off that big jump. He makes it look so easy from outside the cab when you look at it there. But when you look inside, it looks like he is sure working hard. When we talk about that ski jump, if they hold it wide open, the front of that truck, the air can get underneath it. It's a little bit tricky, but you can't lift either, or the back end will kick as you come off. So you got to set up perfectly for that big ski jump.
Renesetter still leaning on Rick Huseman.
And you can see tear-offs he's taken off, stuck there in his window net, flapping, but none the bothersome for Carl Renesetter.
Great battle. First, second, third, fourth. Johnny Greaves kind of checking out here, but they do have that mandatory yellow flag coming up here. And Carl Renesetter, a master at saving his equipment until that yellow flag comes out, and then making a hard charge towards the end.
The hot rumor in the pits right now is Renesetter will be teaming up with his nemesis in the Pro 2, Rob McCachran, and Mark Post for this year's Baja 1000. Look at this, going to the inside. He keeps it clean, just a little bit of a touch, but he does not nudge Huseman. They keep it clean as they race back to that mandatory yellow.
It is out. We'll bunch the field back up, and the game will be on. Come on back to the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Skyjacker Suspensions, the bear of suspensions. On board with Johnny Greaves, the winningest driver in the history of Championship Off-Road Racing. A total of 59 wins, 31 in the Pro 4 division. Carl Renesetter, also very successful with a total of 53 wins coming into this event. Green flag flies. Mandatory yellow is over. We're racing for the final laps here at Chula Vista, and the top four guys again already creating separation.
And we saw Carl before the yellow making his presence known on Huseman. Here he's going to the inside, trying to make it work.
Those two guys race for third place. Oh! Here comes Chenny, and Chenny gets into Greaves and sends him for a ride.
Oh, Oh, he's gonna get back on the wheels.
Unbelievable. And it looks like he's trying to find out if everything's working inside there. Maybe if he can see straight. And he gets back into throttle.
It didn't look like a very vicious roll, just kind of tumbling, but Cheney definitely got into him. I'm not sure if the officials will have a look at that or not, but he definitely drifted up, and then Greaves endoing, just going kind of nose to tail, but pirouetting.
Oh yeah, definitely a hard hit right there to the left rear of Greaves, and really sends him for a ride. And it's difficult to see how steep that angle is, but it's almost impossible. Wow, an onboard shot. Slowly back down.
See him
Man.
look out the window. He looks out the window as he's getting ready to come back down to see if anybody's coming. And he's set to rock and roll again, so Cheney to the lead.
So back what I was saying, but that part of the track is so steep, it's almost impossible to walk up. It's hard to see that here on television, but it's extremely steep, a really, really tough angle.
All right, so Renazetter now looking. Oh,
he
Cheney.
does get the black flag. Adrian Cheney has received a black flag. He will have to pull into the pits for a stop and go. So that hit will cost both drivers.
So that's going to put CORR Renazetter ahead of Rick Huseman as we're winding down the laps here.
Once again, the Lucas Oil sponsored machine, and of course the man is a former champion inside of this category. If you go back to the year of 2003, he won the championship in Pro 4, and of course also back-to-back championships in Pro 2.
All right, well, Huseman, no one would ever accuse him of giving up, so let's watch Huseman. He's also known for looking at different lines. He's willing to hunt, willing to make that Toyota hunt and find on the track, so we'll see if there's somewhere he can make time. Renazetter drifting to the inside. Huseman using a very similar line. We'll see if Huseman can find a chink in the armor of Renazetter where he can get up and battle for that first place position.
Just drastically different combinations. Billy Schleifer power underneath the Lucas Oil Chevrolet, making the better part of 900 plus horsepower. Then you go to Huseman, of course, with the Toyota, right around 4,000 pounds. And that was a baby motor. As we look at Johnny Greaves, not quite up to speed right there, but it looks like he's trying to survive and just save some points.
And Kurt Leduc, who we talked about earlier, he's been having his share of problems as well, seemingly continuing as Leduc in 7th, but giving up the position, it looks like now to Greaves.
And it looks like the rear end of Leduc's truck's kind of sashaying back and forth, left and right. He's had his fair share of issues here today, and it looks like Leduc will pull off the track. Johnny Greaves definitely taking it easy right here with the Forest County Potawatomi Monster Energy sponsored Toyota Tundra as we go back to our leaders. But you know, you're looking at a truck that weighs 4,700 pounds, has a big motor inside of it from Pro Power, making about 900 horsepower, probably 450 cubic inches to the Toyota. Of course, prepped by TRD Toyota Race Development, much smaller power plant, 345 cubic inches or so, probably producing somewhere in the 7 to 750 horsepower range.
But it's a screamer, man. You stand next to the track and listen to that truck go by of Huseman. It's just like so on the pipe, and he drives it so hard. It is just so sweet to listen to.
And it's a truck that weighs about 4,000 pounds, so it's a difference of 700 pounds, and it always comes back to horsepower to weight and that ratio and how you use it. Here comes, oh, Huseman taking a look.
And we saw Carl protecting that line a couple laps before, but he wasn't that close to the barriers. Maybe Huseman thinking he could shove it in there. Carl tightens it up a bit and protects the line. Now this is where you can't have problems. If you start driving in a different line than you want to, protecting could give that next truck an opportunity to find a line around you. So, but with the white flag waving, Ken, I find it hard to believe there's going to be a mistake, but anything can happen when Huseman's chasing.
You see Rick Huseman drive down into that turn real deep. I think he can do that a little bit easier with a lighter truck. Get it stopped, get it rotated, and get going again. Carl, on the other hand, just has that big, brute horsepower, and you can watch him throw it into a turn like that right there, stand on the throttle, and just create separation.
I mean, he was off the edge of the track to the right there before that corner, trying to make that apex as wide as he could to carry as much momentum as possible. Great
throttle control out of the 2003 Pro 4 champ, and he's going to bring this one home for a win. Congratulations. It will be his 4th win of the season. Come on back to CORR. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by KMC Wheels. Wheels like no other. Welcome back to the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. Let's send it down to Kelly.
Well, Rick Huseman told me that this was his lucky body on this truck. Been on the podium every race with it, but maybe it's going to be time to hang it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I should keep running. It's been pretty lucky for me, but I got to thank my sponsors, FabTech and Toyo Tires and TRD, Monster Energy Drink. Everything just came together today, and we had some bad luck up there and had to get underneath John, and Carl got on the inside of us, but we came back, got second, and we're pretty happy with that.
It looked like there were a couple times when you were trying to get it maybe around Carl. Did you think maybe you could get through him, or were you going to have to be content with second?
I got up on the inside of him once, and after that I was like, I don't think it's going to happen, so we just played it safe and came home with second, so.
And Travis Coyne, we talk about consistency, but I got to ask you, with everything that we've seen go on in this class and more trucks upside down and parked on the side, are you really just letting it all work itself out to be there in the end?
Well, this time we got docked for we qualified out of position for qualifying, so they docked us to a rear start, so we had our work cut out for us today. But no, we were charging hard. We got caught up in a couple of tangles up, but our Pro Comp Pro 4 was on the gas today, got up there and hit another podium.
We talk about that points race, I don't know at what point in the season you're really going to start looking at that and where you need to finish to be in that race.
I'm looking at it now. I think we just took back over second in the Pro 4 championship standings. We just passed Douglas on that, so really excited. Again, great time out there, a lot of fun. Had my Monster Energy in me, so we were charging.
All right, thanks, Travis.
Excellent run for him. But going back to the man that wins it, he brings home his 22nd win in the Pro 4 division.
Carl, it was a pretty wild weekend for you back in Antelope Valley. You put this thing on its lid more than once. I bet you were relieved to see it happening to someone else and that you could stay clean.
Well, that was kind of a fluky deal with contact and everything. Today, I just tried to keep my nose clean and drive a conservative race, and the race kind of came to me. And, this Lucas Oil truck keeps running, and the VF Goodrich tires are awesome. But I stuck to my game plan, and I brake checked for everybody. I got next to Rick a bunch of times, and we got to respect each other out there, and that's what it's all about. So, but I'm really happy for this win.
You've always been in contention for a Pro 2 and a Pro 4 championship. I know we still have a few races left, but you're extending your lead now in the Pro 4. How confident are you that you can finish this thing out on top?
Well, anything can happen. I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch, but I'll tell you, we're in a good place, and we're kind of creating our own destiny, and I'd rather be where we're at now than behind, so.
And we keep waiting for the debut of the brand new Pro 4. We're going to expect that soon?
Well, I think you're going to see that at the last two race weekends, Dallas and Vegas. So, and we're pretty confident with that truck too. It's a winner as well. And this one just keeps putting out.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He does have a brand new Pro 4 Nissan that he's going to debut. We look forward to seeing that. Carl Rennezetter on top of the field, followed by Rick Huseman, Travis Coyne, Ed Herbst, Paul Tracy in the top 5. What a great run for him.
Definitely, and you gotta love it, making it work. A totally unfamiliar playing field. We'll see how he does it in the next round. We return to CORR.
Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Once again, we're back here at the quarry in Chula Vista, California with the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. And the first round of the Pro 4 division has been completed here. What an exciting round. Johnny Greaves going for a spectacular ride. I think we could call that a triple sow cow with a perfect landing, man.
It was the triple landing for sure, right? You got to love it. I mean, these guys are going so hard. You never know what's going to happen. But I think what's interesting is problems for Cheney with the black flag, and then definitely problems with Johnny Greaves, and they qualify 1 and 2 for this round. I mean, bad luck this time, good luck this time. Anything can happen around here.
That opened up the door, of course. Carl Rennezetter brought home the win. Rick Huseman back up on the podium. Travis Coyne has been very consistent. And then the two surprises. Congratulations to Ed Herbst, career best, finishing 4th, and Paul Tracy, first time out in a Pro 4, man.
Out of the box. I mean, he came here to race a Pro 2, had an accident, wasn't able to race that car. They pull out the Pro 4, and his driving talent comes out. I mean, he gets the car around. He's known for crashing at times and being a bit of a hothead, but you know what? Pro 4 is the toughest class fast and keep the truck going all the way through the race. Paul Tracy proves it right there. You got to love his style, getting a top 5.
Now with more on the guy that's leading the points in the division, let's go down to Kelly Stavist.
Well, Ken, with that win yesterday, Carl Renezetter extends his points lead in the Pro 4 race. And you know you've had back-to-back Pro 2 championships, but it's been a few years since you've gone that Pro 4. What's more important, getting a championship in Pro 4 or defending that Pro 2 title?
Well, you know, at this point, I'm still taking it race by race. I want to win every race I enter and put this Lucas Oil team in the front.
It usually comes down to you and Johnny Greaves in Pro 4, and this year has been really interesting. Johnny's had his share of problems, and so the field's a little bit more mixed up. When you're out there on the race, is there anyone else now that's caught your attention?
Well, I tell you, I've seen an interesting thing happening, like for me in Pro 2, since I've won back-to-back championships. Everybody's kind of running scared out there the way I see it. You know, I get next to them and they don't want me to pass them, so they'll churn me out and take me into the wall or whatever. Maybe Johnny's having a similar issue in Pro 4. You know, he's a defending champ there. You know, so that could be part of it. It's tough. It's tough when guys are always focusing on you, and if you're faster than them, they're not going to let you by.
Ken, we'll have to see if he can get this sweep in Pro 4 this weekend.
Thanks, Kelly. Right now we want to talk about our number 1 qualifier, Adrian Cheney, who earlier in his career in 2001 was part of a devastating wreck here that basically took him out of contention for a couple of years. Took a hiatus, came back, and has had some more big wrecks since his return. Well, none bigger than the wreck he had earlier today, Cam.
Definitely over the huge ski jump. The back end of the truck starts to come up and follow him, noses in, and complete disintegration of that truck.
You see the onboard shot there. Rumor has it that the throttle stuck on the truck and he went for a ride. The good news is the truck did its job, built by Case Gunderson. And of course, you can see him climbing out there. Should also mention that Adrian Cheney is in phenomenal shape. So he did survive it physically. I'm sure his bell's rung a bit, but that was during the Jason Baldwin Memorial Cup race earlier today. So we will not see our number 1 qualifier in the field here for this particular round. As we take a look at our Kumho Tires starting grid, Carl Renezetter on the pole. He's won in Chula Vista 14 times, far more than anybody else in CORR history. Johnny Greaves on the outside. That's a great battle all by itself.
Yeah, talk about waving the red flag in front of the bull. Johnny Greaves does not want to let Carl Renezetter get away with another number 1, as don't the rest of the field. It's going to be exciting here, and after watching Huseman drive that first round, he definitely was looking around for the lines. Wasn't able to make it work, but this should be an exciting start.
Green flag flies. Johnny Greaves off to an excellent start with the Toyota.
And it looks like a truck off to the side there with the problem. Off power. It looked like Rick Huseman possibly pulling to the right. We'll have to check and see if there was indeed a problem there for the FabTech sponsored truck. And I don't see it up there towards the front where he started.
We were on board with Carl Renezetter, who kind of picked up that left rear as he entered this long sweeper right here. Kind of a double apex turn, if you will, as they head down toward the ski jump, and problems right there. It looks like Josh Baldwin gets into it with another competitor and goes completely off the track.
Gets shoved out, comes right back in on the takeoff of that big ski jump where we just saw the footage of Cheney crashing.
Ed Herbst, Troy Herbst, those guys doing battle. Looks like Scott Douglas in there as well. And then we find Travis Coyne. Tim Herbst also beating around in there.
Oh, trucks together.
Big contact. And it's Scott Douglas with a number 7 Pro 4 truck. And man, does he go for a ride.
Yeah, it looks like doing a rock and roll slide if you were skateboarding, getting up on the center of the truck on the K-rail here and sliding. So the K-rail doing its job, keeping the truck inside the track.
He and Tim Herbst getting together there, and Douglas goes for a ride. Come on back. The Lucas Oil CORR Series is brought to you by ProComp Suspensions, suspension systems that work. Back here with the Pro 4 division, Johnny Greaves out front, Carl Renezetter right behind him.
There's a tire rolling around on the track.
Oh, it looks like Ed Herbst has lost a rear wheel and has climbed up on the back of Paul Tracy. Oh, it's Paul Tracy that lost the rear wheel.
Lost the wheel.
A tough break for him. He had a great run going earlier in this race. Was beating around again up there in the top 5. And that will no doubt end his run here. But Paul Tracy has certainly served himself respectfully this weekend.
And he see the wheel come off, and then he gets just attacked from behind by Eddie Herbst.
And Ed on the power right there, trying to push him, but let's go, man. Just kind of piggybacked on him right there.
Oh yeah, just drive right up on all the coolers, fans, no problem. And you see damage there as well, so even if they could get a tire and wheel back on the tracing machine, looks like maybe coolant escaping.
Troy Herbst there, right behind Kurt Leduc. Troy Herbst, another standout driver, has done a spectacular job since he entered this field, and now issues for Johnny Greaves again. The guy has led so many laps this year, but unfortunately has just not been able to finish a race.
And no indication, you heard the rev there, maybe something wrong in the drivetrain, not moving forward.
Well, we have to keep in mind these guys did race earlier today, so all of this equipment out here has been stressed once already. That leaves this man all by himself out there, and as we go a little deeper in the back, Kurt Leduc still in front of Troy Herbst.
And Troy Herbst has won the Baja 1000 3 times consecutively in his class, 2 times overall. So he is definitely a force to be reckoned with coming out of desert racing and holding his line to the inside. Loving the drift there and keeping it tight. Looks like Kurt tries to fill the line a bit, but Troy has it. We'll see who wins the drag race into turn number 1.
Pro power underneath the hood of both trucks, so both of them making some big steam. And the terrible Herbst truck right now with the edge, and it looks like he's going to get the spot.
It makes it work so well to that inside. It was, we see John Marking slow off the pace, stop there on the inside, actually on the rope. So these guys continuing racing by while we see Marking being towed off.
Troy Herbst, 7 starts so far this year. Has been up on the podium a couple of different times. In fact, the first 2 rounds of the season, 2nd and 3rd place. Quick look at Steve Barlow back in there, working his way up towards the front with the Red Bull sponsored machine.
Dive into the inside there, looking for a way. Look at this, he goes inside and then inside again. We'll see if he can make that work on Kurt Leduc as we get back on board with Carl. Oh, and Barlow making it work. Leduc almost looking like he's having handling problems there, but just one of those things, you start getting a bit of a swap. It's hard to get it going straight when you're trying to put over 800 horsepower to the ground, but we'll have to find out. There's a problem with that vehicle right now. Barlow, a little bit of poetry going through that corner.
Yeah, nice job stepping out of the Pro 2 class into Pro 4. Finished on the podium at Antelope Valley. Is looking to get back up on the podium here today in Chula Vista.
Well, here at Championship Off-Road Racing, we had a break before we came into the last rounds. And the drivers were able to go through their vehicles, and I think that was one thing that really benefited Barlow, as he was able to get on the podium right away following that after finding some gremlins that were crawling around inside his race truck.
Troy Herbst catching up slowly to Carl Rennezetter, actually putting down a little better lap times than Carl.
And it looks like mandatory yellow time. When we come back, the restart here at Championship Off-Road Racing.
Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. About to go with the restart here with the Pro 4 division. Carl Rennezetter out front. Troy Herbst on the back bumper has slowly been reeling him in, and we'll find out if he has anything for him right now. As we start him back up, Steve Barlow working his way up there is in 3rd place, and it's Kurt Leduc.
Everybody went inside except for Josh Baldwin, who had clean air to the outside and was able to carry momentum around the outside of that turn. We'll see if it paid off for him in any positions. There he is to the inside now. Looks like he's right in the mix there. 3rd, 4th, 5th, not able to carry as much speed on that inside, but the first outside corner really looked like it was working for him.
Well, there's somebody else working their way up in here is Ed Herbst, working his way up into the top 5. So the Herbst brothers about to lean on these leaders a little bit. Carl Rennezetter still out front. Great onboard shot.
What I like about the onboard shot is you really get a big glimpse of the Herbst truck right to the inside there. Shows just how tight the racing is coming out of those corners when you try different lines. And almost looked like I saw a puff of smoke there.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Baldwin's truck is smoking big time as Tim Herbst will get around him and Ed Herbst goes around him. So a tough break for Josh Baldwin.
Oh, Josh has been having troubles this year trying to make the truck into magic, and he's been getting better and better with that truck. And a tough break there for Josh. And
he finished second earlier in the year in round number 2, and he's a great driver. Just needs a little bit of luck here, and he hasn't had too much this year.
Actually, the brother-in-law to Carl Renezetter, for those of you not in the loop, Carl married to Josh's sister. So racing in the family blood, of course, and we all know about the Jason Baldwin Memorial Cup named after Josh's brother and Carl's brother-in-law.
And Steve Barlow has taken over second position from Troy Herbst. The Red Bull truck making a charge here. Brand new truck here at the start of the 2007 season. And of course, Steve Barlow, we've talked about him a lot now in short course, making a name for himself, but has basically come out of the desert.
And you know what the thing about Steve that's fun to watch is he always tries to keep it smooth. He doesn't look crazy on the track, but right now, you're gonna have to get a little crazy if he wants that number 2 position to stay his.
Lap 12 of 15 coming at you right now. Here comes Troy Herbst right back as he brings the Rockstar sponsored machine right back, and Steve Barlow takes a look on the inside.
Looking at the inside, you see him check it up, make sure they don't come together. Now go to the inside again, possibly. This is where it gets tricky coming out of this line. The guys on the outside have been carrying more speed because there's less rollers there, but look at this. Herbst making it work.
Spectacular line for Troy Herbst. And as he goes by the start-finish time, just laid down the quickest lap of the race at 56.16. Oh, and Barlow gets into him.
It almost looked like Barlow couldn't see there for a second. Maybe the fiberglass was up in front of him, but he just crawled right up on the back of Herbst as Herbst set up for the braking or the lift zone to get that truck drifting for that corner.
Troy Herbst looking really good right now. It really looks like Steve Barlow's struggling. Maybe there's a steering issue.
Almost looked like he had a low tire, but I'm not sure they run so low tire pressure in these trucks already. It's really hard to tell, but he definitely looked like he was struggling with something on both of those right-hand turns, as you pointed out, Ken.
Once again, that old Lucas Oil Chevrolet, baby. How's the saying go? Like a rock? Man, I'm telling you, that thing is just tough as nails.
And he's got a little bit of a gap there on Troy Herbst as the battle ensues now. Here we go.
That is Tim and Ed Herbst going at it right now. So it's Troy, Tim, and Ed Herbst, second, third, and fourth place. And it looks like the Herbst boys are going to put on a show.
We'll see about the love lost here. The interesting note here is that Tim in front and Ed behind out of these two trucks are partners in desert racing and share the number 19 trophy truck. So they race against each other here, but are partners in the desert.
I was hanging out with Ed a little bit last night. Always a good pit to hang in, by the way. Plenty of beverages over there. And Ed Herbst said, man, I just want to get on that podium, and I want it bad. He's got a shot at it. The only person standing in his way is his brother. White flag flies, and now he only has one lap to get it done.
That's where the battle is on the racetrack. And those three jumps there in the middle of the front straight have been tough all day. Look at the run to the outside. Ed looking for the line to carry momentum around the outside.
Oh, and they make contact. Ed and Tim Herbst going at it.
And Tim doing a great job getting back to the inside, but Ed with a really solid job of setting up the truck for that corner. As he went off that jump, you saw him let it drift a little bit sideways, and he was, and on the bike. How bad do you think these guys want to race each other to that podium?
Man, he is on the edge, and Tim let it float out there. I thought he was going to catch him with that left front fender, but they never made contact. Man, over the jump, hardcore for Tim Herbst. And if Ed Herbst can hang on here for a couple more turns, he's going to bring home his first career podium. This guy's bringing home a win. Congratulations, CORR Round. Then Troy Herbst right behind him. Ed Herbst. Tim Herbst goes for a big ride.
Well, if you can't get on the podium and beat your brother, you got to just go as hard as you can to do it. And it looks like he just caught one of those edges and put it to sleep against the catch fencing.
He's got the Rockstar logo on the bottom, so it's giving the sponsors a little love, but actually a pretty hard hit right there.
We talked about how bad these brothers want to race each other to the podium. I think it's pretty evident right there Timmy trying to hold it down through those rollers. Wasn't able to keep it together. Here we go. Bouncing.
Oh, it just kicked the back of that truck up in the air.
And the safety fencing doing its job, holding the truck inside the racetrack.
Of course, we want to make sure he is okay. These trucks are just so durable. I'm sure Tim is just fine. At least we're hearing on the radio he's fine. This guy, of course, is fine as he brings home the checkered flag. Congratulations to him.
Doing some donuts on the front straight.
Win number 15 here at Chula Vista. Come on back. CORR Round brings home his 55th career win here with the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. Here's our Skyjacker shock of the race, Cam.
We'll definitely get it up on two wheels, Scott Douglas, and then teaming up comes Kurt Leduc. Both of them getting on the bicycle in the same spot. Scott just catches the edge, throws it up, and oh, coming right at you. That is another Pro 4, and that's your Skyjacker shock of the race.
Another exciting moment, and all that happened on lap 1, believe it or not. Well, we'll send it back down to Kelly, who's with our winners. She's going to kick things off for the Herbst boys.
We've got the entire Herbst clan here, even the little trophy car drivers. But Troy, I got to start with you with that second place finish. You're in a brand new truck. Did you think that you would be a top contender this early on in that new truck?
You know what? We got a great crew behind us, and everybody at Terrible Herbst is doing a great job. It's so much fun to be out here with my brothers, and everybody's racing out here. It raises the whole bar. We're just having a lot of fun out here.
And Ed did it again, finished third, taking off his brother, who was leading him.
I'll tell you,
You're going to be having a blast.
Fantastic. You know, for me to podium once and then podium twice in the same weekend is great. Again, thanks to the Terrible Herbst guys, and the truck ran great. And my brother Tim and everybody, we seem to find each other on the course. We seem to race each other real hard, but it was a fun day, and I'm really happy for Tim and Troy, myself, and the Terrible Herbst guys.
We talk about how you guys all race in the desert, but you never really get to compete head-to-head. So how great is it to really get at these guys?
Ask my brother, side by side. It was neat. We love each other as brothers and as friends, and it's even to race together is even more fantastic.
Tim?
Yeah, it was great. Like Eddie said, the team is coming along really great. We're making a move up the ladder to the top of the heap here, but we still got a long ways to go. We got a lot of respect for these CORR drivers. They're super. A lot of talent out here, and we're just lucky to be, amongst them.
All right. Well, congratulations to the entire Herbst clan.
Those guys definitely put on a show and have to be having a great time. It's a huge team and a big effort.
Carl Renizet are celebrating his 5th win behind this old Pro 4 Chevy. Woo! I got to ask you, though, what was going on there at the start? It took a couple times before they could get a clean start.
Well, I wasn't sure. I think Johnny kind of jumped the first one, and then I thought I was supposed to set the pace for the second one, but I don't know. It gets a little confusing out there. But this Lucas Oil truck, Chevrolet, Billy Sleeper Pro freaking power, BF Goodrich truck rocks. What can I say, man? I don't know. Words don't have anything to describe what I'm feeling right now for this truck and what it can do and what this team's capable of. That's 3 races this weekend. We could have had more, but can't get too greedy. But man, I just want to thank all of our fans and you especially, for interviewing me, and it's great. This is awesome. Thank you.
I know you always say you don't like to look at the points race till the end of the season, but you've extended it even further in this class, and the guys who are behind you cut out early in this race. When will you start looking at that?
I might look at it a little bit after this weekend, but I still want to win races. A championship's great, but winning races is the ultimate. I want to win a lot of races, and with that, hopefully comes a championship.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Like little Augie back there having as much fun as anybody slinging that checkered flag around. Remember when he wasn't even old enough to walk? Well, here's a look at the final results. CORR Round are on top. Troy Herbst, Ed Herbst, and then Steve Barlow and Jerry Doherty. Congratulations to him, working it into the top 5. He and his son Aaron and the rest of their team worked so hard on that truck, making their comeback to CORR. CORR Round are on top of the points. Then Rick Huseman hanging on at second. Scott Douglas in third. This is going to be a battle as well as they go down to the final rounds here in the 2007 season. It's been a spectacular run once again, and Cam, these guys always bring it on.
They do, and they never surrender. No matter how many times they bang, they crash, they flip, they keep coming back for more. Carl Renazetter on top of the heap, but you never know what's going to happen around the next turn.
The next time you see us here with Championship Off-Road Racing, we'll bring you the Pro Light Division right here at Chula Vista. Those guys know how to get it on as well, and they'll take their crack at the ski jump. For Kelly Stavis and Cameron Steele, I'm Ken Stout. We'll see you next time with the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series.